Welcome back. As spring blossoms around us, so does our selection of exquisite floral wines, the perfect pairing for the season.
And if you're looking for a Mother's Day gift that's both thoughtful and tasteful, our next guest has you covered with beautiful bouquet and bottle pairings. Please welcome the editor of Canada's largest wine review website, Natalie MacLean. Good to have you here, Natalie. Good to see you.
Hi. It's great to be with you.
Okay, so let's start out talking about the connection between florals and wine.
Right. So we often hear wine described with floral descriptors, and that's actually more than poetic fancy or wine geek speak. There's actually a balance between the chemistry of grapes and the artistry of winemaking, and both grapes and flowers are profoundly influenced by the terroir, the unique environment where they're produced. So today I've brought 5 different wines representing a different bouquet, perfect pairings for Mother's Day.
Lovely.
I love it. And you've gone classic for our first pairing, right?
I have.
So what bouquet and bubbles are we starting with?
So we have roses and rosé. And just let me say, if you are bringing...
Shut up, Kate.
Yeah, there you go.
I already started to drink. I'm like, no, I'm listening.
You do you. All right, so if you're going to give fizz and flowers, you're not just the favorite child anymore. You're the only child who counts,
Yes.
right? Game
good.
on. Because roses and rosé have a timeless association with celebration. You know, as the petals of the rose unfold with their delicate perfume, the wine reveals itself with its aroma sip by sip. Is that happening?
I'm getting it sip by sip, girl. Sip by sip.
Great participation points. Okay.
So what sparkling wine has Andrea already dove into over there, I should say?
Yes, that's right. So my first pick of this floral bunch, is the Westcott Vineyards Brilliant Sparkling Rosé from Niagara, Ontario. Go Canada.
Go Canada.
All right. So this wine it's beautiful. It has these fine liquid bubbles, almost like liquid pearls, and it has these aromas of rose petals. I mean, it's just beautiful. What do you think in terms of the pairing?
I love it.
Okay.
But I'm maybe not the wine expert to ask, but I really like it.
The problem is we have 2 non-wine experts.
We're both like, tastes good to me, tastes delicious.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to our next one. We're moving on to peonies and Sauvignon blanc. Why did you put these 2 together?
So these are the extroverts of their worlds. They walk into a room and they're going to audition for the reboot of Pride and Prejudice and get the starring role.
It's the Andrea wine.
Yeah,
I love
exactly. So peonies and Sauvignon Blanc, both bold. They have a vibrancy that demands attention. You know, in other words, they are not wallflowers, right? So peonies have these layers and layers of petals that kind of explode in a profusion.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, it's exploding. I'm listening.
The wine is exploding. That's a new descriptor. Can I use that?
Of course you can. All right, so what Sauvignon Blanc are we sipping right now?
So we have the Villa Maria Cellar Selection from Marlborough, New Zealand. It's made from sustainably grown grapes, and it has this bold aromatic character, passion fruit, some lime and lemon.
Smell it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Excellent. So I just think the 2 of them, peonies and Sauvignon Blanc, they say, we're here, we're not going to be ignored.
Yes, I love that.
Yes.
That smells delicious.
So you have one more white wine pairing for us.
do.
What is it?
So we have Vermentino and lilacs. Now, for me, lilacs are very much, they have such a beautiful sweet and spicy aroma that it sort of lingers in memory. I think one sniff.
I know, who's been drinking this?
That's right. I'm the one who hasn't. Anyway, but one whatever, and you're transported back in your memory to your grandmother's garden. It's very nostalgic. And I think of Vermentino, you know, very opulent, great mouthfeel, but also lilacs. It's like strolling through a garden in full bloom after a spring rain.
I love your description.
You like poetry.
Almost better than the wine. That was incredible.
Thanks. Well, I believe wine is sublime all the time, but I ain't no poet, and I know it.
Hey!
Yeah, so,
I think you are.
Yeah.
So tell us about this wine then.
So I have got the Lunai Vermentino from Liguria, Italy. And it is so opulent. It has a profusion of blossoms and stone fruit. It's just, it's juicy and mouth-watering. What do you think of it with the lushness of the lilac blossoms?
How's the mouth feel, Andrea?
It feels wonderful.
Your mouth is feeling great?
My mouth, everything feels wonderful right now. I'm on wine number 3, everything feels great.
You know, if you two keep this up, you're both getting a sommelier certificate by the end of this segment.
Hey!
Yeah.
See that? Done and done. Done and done. All right, so let's move on to our next one. We're moving into reds now with the Pinot Noir and cherry blossoms.
Right.
Talk to us about this pairing.
Well, this pairing, just cause I ran out of ideas, I don't know. No, just I think cherry blossoms, you know, they have this magnificent blooming in spring that sort of comes and goes very quickly. It's magnificent. Pinot Noir is known as the heartbreak grape. It's very temperamental. So in other words, these are both high-maintenance divas that are so worth the trouble.
We found the U wine.
In my direction.
We found the U wine.
Melissa's backstage. Don't even bother. No, I'm joking. So tell us about this Pinot Noir that you brought.
So we have the Thieroubles La Grosse Pierre from Beaujolais, France, made from the Gamay grape. So it's got these lush aromas of ripe raspberry and plums. It's smooth. It's like liquid silk.
It is. It's very bold, but very smooth.
Very high
very
maintenance.
good.
Tastes very high maintenance.
Very high maintenance, yes. Very high maintenance with a side of diva. So yeah, I just think it's a beautiful, like Pinot Noir is often described as having cherry aromas. So yeah, there was a notion behind the pairing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Now let's talk about our final pairing. It's orchids and gamay. So why do these go well together?
So orchids are kind of like the high fashion supermodels of the flower world, right? They're tall, they're willowy.
Are you pointing at yourself for real, Kate? You've had too much wine. She's cut off.
Yes, they're very much Kate. So they're tall, willowy, a little intimidating. Orchids are also among the most diverse of the flower family. So they come in all shapes and sizes, and they really have a wild variety, which is like gamay. It will differ wildly depending on where it's planted. So that's the pairing for this one.
And tell us about the last wine you've pulled for us.
All right, so this is the Courcelette Estate Winery from the Okanagan Valley in British Columbia. Again, another great Canadian wine. And it's bursting with these cherry berry kinds of aromas. It's very smooth, you know, it's luxurious. I think, you know, like orchids, it's kind of got this wildness to it that remains untamed and delivers over and over in the glass.
You are so good at what
I
you
know.
do.
This is so much fun. We should cheers.
Cheers!
Cheers,
Yes.
ladies.
Yes. Cheers.
Thank you so much, Natalie. Always so much fun when you step by. All right, Natalie, thank you so much for being here.
Hey, you, come a bit closer. We've got so many more must-see interviews, spicy debates, lifestyle tips, and pop culture moments. So subscribe to our channel by tapping the logo below and don't miss out.